So I've learned a lot about data analysis and how to create surveys as a great tool to assess barriers in the community, and then how to take that data and implement it in the community as well. Building trust with the community, I didn't realize how important it was to have conversations and take the time to build that trust with community partners before you actually are just handing out surveys and trying to collect data.
Well, I think I had a very narrow understanding of what research was. I understood that there's laboratory research. I understood that some people work in the community, or some people may do retrospective studies. However, I didn't really see how those fields overlapped. So I think translational research has been really interesting to me, just to see how laboratory goes to clinical. That's very cool to me now. And I think as I look forward to graduate programs, I think it's something that I had never considered before, and it's something that I want to look into more.
At first, I had prior knowledge of research, but it wasn't as in-depth. So now, doing this experience, I have now more an in-depth knowledge of research, like how to plan out a proper experiment and how to go about staining, and then interpreting data and then going to the next future experiment. That's definitely been helpful.
One of the biggest things, I gained a systematic review, which I have been doing for my research, and I learned the proper documentations, how to conduct a review, and I think this will help me in my future as well, because documentation is something that you need as a physician. So I think this was a great learning experience.
And I learned things like micropipetting, PCR, gel electrophoresis, and then a few new techniques such as completion ligation and rolling circle amplification. Outside of just technical skills, I learned how to work in a research team, and I learned about the importance of camaraderie in the workplace and kind of the collaboration aspect and how helpful that can be in science.
One of the main things that I gained from this experience was a lot of technical knowledge. I had no experience in a lab before, so getting to work with cell culture and the different protocols associated with cell culture has really been a great experience. You know, working down the path of becoming a subject matter expert on the given field that we're studying.
And I got to connect with different people, a lot of shadowing opportunities, volunteering, and my project that I did was combining the field of neurology with cancer research, which was very fascinating because for me, I'm fascinated with the brain and neuroscience. So combining that with cancer research was definitely something that I'm glad that I was able to do.
I had a hands-on experience in the lab, in the safety cabinet, and it was really a change from what I usually do or what I'm used to. And it opened up my eyes for so many things that I wasn't able to see back in my country.
I learned how to pipette. I learned how to passage neurospheres, like break down clumps of cells into smaller neurospheres. I also learned how to deal with cell cultures and whatnot, and how to see how they grow, and to try to maintain them, sustain them, keep them growing and living. So these are some of the best stuff I've learned.
I gained practical skills, not only in the laboratory setting, learning a whole variety of new protocols and experiments, but I've also gained more knowledge in the medical field overall. We've had a variety of guest speakers, and due to that, I've gained a lot of knowledge, and my eyes have been open to other fields within medicine.
Well, I'll start with the hard stuff I gained, because there's hard skills and there's soft skills in life. Hard skills, I learned about subcloning. I also learned about DNA purification. And then I learned a little bit about cell culture in a biosafety level 2 environment. And I also learned about the Western blot and protein blotting. So that's the hard skills. The soft skills that I learned were how to create a more effective poster presentation, and also how to work in a lab with other people, and how to I guess learn from people. Like, while I still have a lot to learn, I get more poised in the lab every day.
I think the experience in the lab is amazing, but also the relationships I've built within my lab and with the other students in the program that's the absolute best thing, because connections mean everything, and it's really just allowed me to expand my knowledge in ways from my peers or from colleagues or from my PI or other people in the lab. You learn everything from everyone.
I think that my most meaningful experience in the community was working with the middle schoolers at Euler Cincinnati Public School, and the children are so funny. I got to lead class for a week, and the opportunity to meet the kids, try and get them outside of their shell, and to participate in the classroom was definitely challenging. But I think as long as respect is given, they tend to respect as well.
I think one of my most memorable experiences was at the Cancer Health Fair last weekend. I was working with a cancer survivor at the checkout table, and it was really interesting just to talk to one of the residents in Norwood about her experience, especially as a cancer survivor that underwent treatment in this area, and just really learn about like the experience that she went through and then maybe how we can improve those in the future.
Today was pretty memorable. Learning about team science and like learning where you fit, that was really intriguing. Knowing how to communicate to certain groups of people and how they'll perform in a team, that's also quite interesting.
My memorable experience would have to be my field experience that I had. This field experience was creating posters for elder populations on grief and what grief is in the recovery process. And I thought it was really interesting and cool to see other people's grief stories and how theirs is related to the grief stages, because grief is not the same for everyone. It just put the research I was doing to like real life community experience, and just to see the research that we're going to do really does have an impact in the community.
I'd say the most meaningful experience was the Cancer Survivors Talk. Hearing the stories from the survivors was really inspiring and eye-opening. I was particularly surprised to hear about the differences in care between some of the survivors based on their socioeconomic status and racial background. It also showed me the importance of health literacy and making sure providers are explaining terms like diagnosis, prognosis to patients, and making sure that they're leaving confident in understanding their care and learning about kind of the outcomes that happen when patients don't know what they're being told.
Besides the amazing relationships you form, I still remember I was sitting with my PI when my first Western came back and the knockout was confirmed, and it was just so exciting because I'd never done a Western before, and it was like my first real result. So I remember being so excited just how much I've already learned, and I think it was within the third week or so.
To be honest, I believe it was my first day here. I met both Miss Melissa and Miss Karen, and they were the most welcoming humans, and it gave me like a nice culture shock how welcoming people are here in America, and I felt warm, I felt at home when I first came here.
I have built a really strong relationship with my PI, my lab manager, and other members of my lab, and then not only that, but other members of the CRIS program. And I think just building those strong connections has been the most impactful thing for me.
Some of the best parts were meeting the people. Like, there's a lot of great lab partners and people that always helped me and assisted me. I love my mentor a lot. I also liked the idea of having trial and error. Like, I do a mistake and then I come back, find a creative way to do it again. This was always very fun and it was unique. It was a good experience.
My most memorable experience would be when my subcloning became a success. And so when the subclone was a success, it had taken several tries. That was my most meaningful moment, that I'd finally learned something in this lab.
One of my most memorable experiences happened yesterday, actually. We were working with some very advanced imaging equipment. Just getting to work with such high-level equipment at such a young age is really something that kind of leaves an impact on me, getting to work with, you know, some stuff that not many people get to work with in their lifetime, and I'm getting to do it at, 22?
My favorite, or the most memorable, was the team science session. I really enjoyed how science is a combined field and you need other people, and as a team we work together to create a solution.
I'd like to say thank you to my mentors. I've learned a lot through this program and it's been a really great experience. I encourage everyone to be a part of this program if they can. I've just learned so much and I look forward to building on this experience in the future.
I would like to say that I am incredibly thankful for my time working under Dr. Melinda Butch-Kovacic and Dr. Lauren Bates and Dr. Susan Hirschberger, because they have all done an amazing job to show me how they have been personally impacted by science and medicine, and they are so enthusiastic with what they do.
I want to shout out to Miss Karen. To be honest, the whole entire CRSP team, you guys have been very helpful, and all these events that you guys have planned out and all these experiences you guys have given us has been very helpful and very detailed in giving us future knowledge and how to go about our futures, pretty much, whether if we want to do this or something else. So you guys have been very helpful with that.
I'd like to thank my mentors, Dr. Nolan and Dr. Lee. They were really nice, patient, flexible. They taught me a lot of things. I'm hoping to continue my work with them during the academic year as well.
I'd also like to thank everybody in Dr. Andreassen's lab for being very kind and thoughtful to me and teaching me. And everybody involved in the CRISP program's inception for giving me this great opportunity. I'd also like to thank, the friends that I made my age through this program.
I'd just like to give a shout out to the people that I've gotten to work with in my lab. It's been such a great experience getting to work with them, and I feel like I've learned a lot, but it's also been a bit of a team building process, and I've really enjoyed that aspect of it.
So a special thank you definitely goes to the program, Miss Melinda, Miss Karen, and Miss Melissa especially, for everything that they've done for us since we've been here from Saudi Arabia to America. I haven't even got the chance to feel homesick because of them. And a word of advice is for every student, every international or local, to come to this program and go through what I went through, because it was such an amazing experience.
Thank you all for helping me through this journey. And I'm really grateful for this, and I'm really happy. And this was one of my favorite experiences, summer research programs.
I'm thankful for everyone in the program. I'm thankful I got the opportunity to be able to participate in something like this, which is really hard to get into. And as well as my friends that I made in the CRISP program. I'm glad that I got to meet you guys, and I'm thankful for the people who coordinated the program. Thank you, Dr. BK and Dr. Ramos, and everyone else.
I'm just so thankful to have been able to participate in this program this summer. It was an eye-opening experience. I'd like to thank Dr. Butch-Kovacic for being a fantastic mentor to me over the past year and introducing this program to me. And I'd also like to thank my mentor from this summer, Dr. Jason Blackard, and also the senior research assistant in the lab, Heidi Meads. She was really helpful in helping me get started, and she was very patient as I was learning new techniques.
I really am so lucky to work in this lab, and also just thank you to the CRISP program and just everyone here who's making this experience in summer so memorable. But yeah, my lab is absolutely fantastic, and thank you to everyone in it.